Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to shooting the. We ripped off some Ring of Honor shit. My name is Agent A, and my guest this afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching it, is the one and only Kenneth, World Champion Killgore. We have a world champion. Now I'm honored because K got the other guy. I got the world champion.
Yeah.
Champ, it is an honor.
That's what happens. Look at the draw. I left my championship, my luggage bag, my hotel.
I mean, hey, look, I wouldn't want to carry around with these ruffians.
I actually didn't know I'd be doing this interview, but they call me for promo, they call me for press, so.
I got pickpocketed for a dime earlier, so thank God you didn't
Well,
carry
it is London, England, I'm glad to be here. I haven't been here in a while. First time I was here, I was at a Progress Wrestling show, I think circa 2015 maybe, something like that, I don't know. So we little lad, as they say here, helped set up the ring, take the ring down, all that sort of thing. And now, look where I am now, performing Wembley Stadium in the main event as a heavyweight champion of this world.
Well, I think you probably just got a good segue to start this interview because let's talk about professional wrestling and your relationship with it.
Loaded question.
Yeah, it is. So now you talk about a wee little lad. Now, did your father, influence, or did your family in general ever influence your life for pro wrestling, or for like some people, was it just something you saw on the tube or playing to our audience, saw on the TV and was like, oh no, I like this a lot. Which one, or which was it for you?
Yeah, I think it was a tale of two lives, that sort of thing. My father is a self-admitted professional wrestling fan, not as much as I am, not as much as anyone in Wembley Stadium, tomorrow night will be, I presume. But he, watched through the golden era, the Hogans and the Jake the Snakes and the Macho Man.
A lot of rest hoes he saw.
Yeah, and a lot of, even Papa Shango, But yeah, he has a love for wrestling, and he instilled that love in me. But I have to say, the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now, is because of the Kenny Omegas of the world, the New Japan Pro Wrestling, watching Prince Devitt and Ryusuke Taguchi and Kota Ibushi and things like that. I was in love and enamored by that. I didn't know pro wrestling can be that, because we all start off with the big bad corporation, WWE, and that's sort of our view of wrestling, which isn't a bad thing, But I wanted to I wanted to expand. I wanted to, as a chef.
Was there any one specific Omega match that again you saw and said, you know what, I want to step in the ring one day?
Oh, I mean,
one. Just you can name. You can name your few.
Right. Come on. I mean, I think, the Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega at DDT Peter Pan. Seeing that match and seeing the heights and the levels that these guys are willing to push their bodies through just to entertain people, just to perform, just to show that, hey, we are athletes, this is a sport, but also we can mix sports and entertainment. I know a lot of people are going to burn me for putting those two words together, but what we do is sports entertainment. We are combat athletes, we train, we practice how to hurt each other, how to maim each other in the best ways possible, but also we want to make it entertaining for the fans. We profit off this. This is a business, and it's the sort of thing where when a person asks, why should I buy a ticket to AWF End of Days, I want them to look up a Kenneth Killgore match and say, hey, this is the best wrestler in the world. This is why he has the World Heavyweight Championship, and I'm the champion of the best locker room on planet Earth. that sort of thing. So yeah, I have to, if I was to credit a match, it would be Golden Star versus, not the Cleaner Then, but Best Bout Machine, Kenny Omega, DDT Peter Pan.
You gotta love it. I love the accuracy you have when you speak with this. So,
of course.
K asked this towards the latter half of Ant's interview. I'm gonna kind of lead. I guess it can be the building stone of ours.
Yeah.
When you think of the AWF, and we can extend it, start with the AWF, TIF, sure, but when you think of the AWF, as mentioned, you, Ant, Blitz, Loaf, so on, Mo Game, guys tip-tastic before he goes crazy. You guys are made men in this company. Who do you think are the next made men and women? And, again, He did the name game, so I'm gonna do the name game.
Oh wow. Okay.
So this is my
I'm
first time.
dying to hear what Ant said about everyone else. I'm sure he was very diplomatic about a few people.
Let's see if you'll remain diplomatic. You know what? We'll do it throughout the entire professional wrestling. We don't gotta limit ourselves.
Okay, well,
so everyone can see how this works.
I'm not gonna hold my breath. You know what I mean? One thing Kenneth Killgore has not been is somebody who bites his tongue. So
okay, we'll start, and this is gonna be your all-time opinion on some, because some folks will become and some gone.
All right.
Eddie Guerrero.
Professional.
Shawn Michaels.
Entertainer.
The Undertaker.
Legend.
Macho Man.
Charisma.
Piper.
Badass.
Hogan.
Oh man.
See, everyone, this is how the game goes. You see how.
Low life.
Love it. Okay, now we can go more to CM Punk.
Controversy. Yeah.
Darby Allin.
Insane.
Sting.
Icon.
Ha!
Yeah.
That was too easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Mo Game.
Oh.
Oh no! Whoa! What's that reaction there?
Friend.
Oh.
Friend. Yeah.
I'll expand on that one. How is the relationship between the World Heavyweight Champion and the AWF World Champion?
Well, I just find it
dynamic
hilarious that we are both world champs at this time. Me and Game have really come into our own as friends. I feel, if we were to compare friendships, because I feel like the comparison has to be made between me and Anthony, who we've known each other for, I don't even know how long at this point, it feels like for ages, but for Game, very recent friend. Travel together on the road, of course, training partners, that sort of thing. Man, I can be known as a hot-tempered individual, right? Sometimes, but I like to think that cooler heads prevail when regarding Kenneth Killgore. But Mo Game, honestly, just sit down with Mo Game for a second. Just talk to him for a second. It's one-on-one. Lights off, cameras off. Just talk to him in a room. You will walk out feeling like a fucking mental patient. That guy is.
We love you, Game.
Oh my God, that guy. It's the sort of thing where of course in our industry, we like to poke fun at what we do. It's silly, you know what I mean? It's silly sometimes how we we say things on the microphone just to entertain people, but we might not mean them, Like I'm sure The Rock isn't going around calling people candy asses. He might, but our characters are turned up to 11 to sell tickets, you know what I mean? Of course, what we do in the ring is real. I want to hurt whoever I'm in the ring with. But Game, I don't think Game's not a gimmick, all right? Game is not,
The Game is our flair, guys.
Right.
If you ever think that, no, yeah, he's interesting.
Game is everything that you see on screen or in the promo or whatever. Game is that kind of guy. He will get on your nerves because he's just good. He's good at what he does, and he's cold, He's got this mask to where you can't make him upset. He'll make you upset before you even learn his name, but you can't make him upset, and that's the thing that gets me about Game. So Game, friend.
Right.
That's the word I use there. Yeah.
Undisputed.
Oh man. Oh boy, man, you're really digging in the knife here. Undisputed. Undisputed. One word is tough, but I'm gonna say prodigy. Yeah, I'm gonna say prodigy.
Good one.
Yeah.
CJ Speed.
Oh. Rugrat. Yeah,
That's real
Rugrat.
nice. John Cena.
Let's do 2 words here, okay? Because I have to.
Do you have to? The fact that you're breaking rules for Anthony Felix Cena on the one-word game says enough. But here, what's your 2 words, man?
Overrated, underrated. That's what I got to say.
This motherfucker's awesome.
Overrated, underrated is what I have to say. You know.
And then to wrap this game up, we'll go. No, it's not wrapping it up, but wrapping up for the pro real ones. Right. Triple H.
Chess master.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now, all right.
Yeah.
So
We're probably gonna give me some hot water with some people, but you know.
I mean, I don't think so actually, because
the
end of as my old supervisor says, as long as that check clears every Monday, that's all they care about.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So,
yeah.
I think Triple H might have mastered that shit.
Yeah.
So to say, now we did the one-word game, and now we can do name some of your favorites in AWF and or TIF too, if you can go there. But when you think of the future, who do you think of?
Man, you know what? Let me just take a second here to put over both locker rooms. You know, I haven't been in the TIF locker room as much as I want. You know, I've been there to support some friends of mine. You know, some people I broke into the business with, but the AWF locker room obviously is my stomping grounds. I want to put over both locker rooms. They are phenomenal professionals. Some of the most mind-blowing athletes you will ever see in professional wrestling. You know, and all around good people, except for a couple bad apples, but you know, good people.
It's fantastic one of those bad apples.
I mean, I don't know how much time we have in this program, but that
answers my question.
Yeah, there we go. So let's start off with the AWF. I'm gonna do the women first, you know, because you know that's obviously not my world. I have no stake in that, but so I can just watch from afar. But Nahir Robles, I'm in awe. You know what I mean? She is on the PWI for a reason, folks. All right, it's not just something that you know A or K say on commentary to hype her up, which they do. But
she moved up that list. She was only those 2 years in a row.
Exactly. You know, she's going around winning championships. She's working the indies. She's paying her dues. She's getting her grinding. You know what I mean? And she's doing all that while being the women's world champion of this company. I mean, I'm in awe of her. You know what I mean? The Hollywoods, the Ashes, crazy athletes. You know, funny women too. But they are great wrestlers. A.G. Jones, he's somebody in both locker rooms often. That kid, you know, I never had a personal problem with him.
You never. I was gonna ask. We can bring back the one-word game if you can. What is the word? Is
learner. I think
you are such a soul.
Yeah, I think Jones. I say learner. You know, perhaps he's learned some of the things that I don't, you know, think is so good in professional wrestling. I'm not gonna say who he may have learned them from.
We thought the same damn thing.
Yeah,
he had a lot to say about them.
Yeah, I might be facing that same man. You know, tomorrow night in the main event. But I say that to say, A.G. Jones is somebody who absorbs. You know, he's always the kind of person who he doesn't come up to you and ask you what to do or how to apply a hold because you know. Kid's got an ego, right? I mean, he's in a mom and family. Which one of them doesn't have an ego, you know?
I think that's how Jones is pretty humble.
Oh, he is, you know, but he, you know, he's the older gentleman, so he's been around the way. But A.G. Jones is a young kid breaking in. He won't go in the ring and ask you, hey, you know, what's the best? How should I present myself? All these things. But he'll watch from afar. And I notice him watching from afar, and I appreciate that.
There's very high praise coming because you two had I know a couple years ago, y'all two had a little heated tension going on.
Oh, of course, yeah, because like CJ Speak, he's a rugrat. You know what I mean? He's the kind of kid who you know kind of wants to flick him off you. He's like a gnat. You just want to, you know.
Maybe I don't think this was asked in the Ant interview. If you could take any of the AEW, if you could take someone under your wing, or if you could
yeah.
I was gonna say start a wrestling school, but everyone already knows. But you get if you can take everyone, you know, and to the Kenneth Killgore course of pro wrestling for however many weeks that might be. You know, you get about maybe 6 names. Who are those names you putting on that list?
6 names. Well, so here's the thing, right? I can't say 6 names who I think would benefit from my teachings. You know, 6 names who I think could learn what I've learned in this industry. or I could take 6 names who I think are just phenomenal, you know, and just say, hey, you know, I had the pleasure to train them. So maybe I'll do a mix of both. I think the first name would be Avery. I think Avery, of course, being a former UFC champion.
You're trying to
legit badass.
Demon.
You know, legit badass. You know, Anthony's trained with her. They've shared knowledge, but I think, frankly, my style
is more her style.
Right,
you know, she's not. No, respect. She's not an RVD.
Yeah, you know. So that catch as catch can style. You know what I mean? Obviously, he was an amateur wrestler back in the day, so I think we would mesh well in terms of what we soak up. You know, that sort of thing. Arts, you know, is interesting. I think Arts, of course, an impressive luchador, that sort of thing. But I like to see his ground game. I mean, I don't know. He's Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Hello, you know what I mean? I'm interested to see if he's got any of that in his toolkit. You know what I mean? Let's get a big man in here. I'd say let's have thinking maybe like an Artichoke or a Curtis.
Curtis.
You know?
Ooh, those
Something
two
like
both
that.
would be.
Yeah, you know, not that Curtis needs any training. You know, he probably whooped my ass to and fro. You know, but I think Artichoke would be interesting because you know that guy's he's built like a shit brick house. You know, like you ever watch tapes of Kobashi back in the day, like he's built like that. You know, Kobashi was the rookie before he started rubbing shoulders with Kawada and, you know, Taue and then, of course, Misawa.
Encyclopedia Pro Wrestling I'm sitting across, folks.
Yeah, there you go. You know, I mean, listen, I love this, you know. So he's built like Kobashi, and, you know, I think I take a lot of inspiration from Kobashi and in the way I present myself and the way I do things. So I think, you know, Artichoke under my wing would be interesting. And, of course, I got to take the Johnsons, no relation, the Striker and the Trey, you know. Those are my guys, man. You know, sometimes we just go in the ring and we you know, we do the amateur thing, you know what I mean? Just to keep...
Only one of the few folks that can really do what you guys do.
Right, exactly. You know, just like, you know, how stories of Brock and Kurt back in the day used to do that sort of thing. Yeah, you know, we like to see, you know, hey, listen, as much as I like what I did in my amateur wrestling career, I pale to those guys. I never went to college for it, you know what I mean? Those guys are NCAA Division I heavyweight champions. That's the title that Brock Lesnar won, right? So these guys are tying me up, you know, like headlocks and all that sort of thing, splatos, you know. But yeah, I'd love to learn from those guys and vice versa. When the last one here,
number 6, lucky number 6.
Ooh man.
Then we can shift to
lucky number 6. I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to do like a dark horse pick here. You know, I think Arts might have been the dark horse pick, so maybe I'll just go with something more on brand. I don't know. Yeah, I might be stumped at 5.
Charlie. Say again?
I might be stumped at 5. I don't know. I think I might be. I'm trying to think of a 6 here.
If you're stuck at 5, that is no.
Oh, I mean, you know what? I think I'll throw a tag team in there. I think that makes it 7. You know.
But still, you're scooping it.
Come on, Devastators. You know, like
I'm shocked that those gonna be PK and Ricky, but Devastators.
I think PK and Ricky, they have their own thing going on. You know, and I feel like, of course, I mean, they've had a longer tag team championship reign than AK-170 did. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're gonna go to the Kenneth Killgore school of tag team wrestling. You know what I mean?
I still heard about that, ain't you?
Oh.
Well, you can ask about that. That's a good segue.
You know, physical scars heal, emotional wounds seldom do. You know what I mean? Not to get into that, but or unless you want to.
Well, yeah, we have to, because you face that man tomorrow night, end of days, Wembley Stadium, London. Now, you know, you two
have faces on the trucks back here and posters all around London to remind me. You know what I mean? Not that I forgot, but yeah.
Now, going up against Mamba Ant, you know, you are by far, in my opinion, the better professional wrestler. Though Mamba Ant has the quote-unquote resume, world championships in wrestling aside, though those can be as good as political reigns, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So to say, is there any doubt? Is there any reasonable doubt going into your mind or is tomorrow just a no doubter for you? Do you already have the celebrations in line?
Well, if you ask Kenneth Killgore, maybe a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago, yeah, I would have celebration lined up, limo, champagne, you know what I mean? Maybe even celebrate with the Titville boys when I was still part of that clubhouse. But as I matured as not only a champion but a man, I realized I can't doubt anybody, right? I mean, this is a business where we've seen a million strange things happen and a million of this should have happened but it didn't, and for everyone out there who thinks that Kenneth Killgore at the top of his game, and I think this has been undisputedly the best year of my career, right? I think if anyone in the crowd looks at Kenneth Killgore and says, yeah, he should beat Mamba Ant, no brainer. I mean, this should be no more than a 20-minute match where Kenneth Killgore outlasts Mamba Ant, because Mamba Ant has not been on the top of his game for the year. I would say you're stupid and you're crazy.
Why is that?
I am a professional wrestler, right? But I used to be an amateur, okay? And the difference to me, the biggest difference between the amateurs and the pros, of course, the skill level, but also that professional wrestling is a business and it's an industry, you know what I mean? And whenever it comes to winning and money and the value of being perceived as the best, that is something that avalanches, it avalanches, and from a person who you could never ever see on your level, someone who isn't even in your weight class, who's punching above, once they get a sniff of that avalanche, once they get a sniff of that press, that money, that value, they can become a god in one night. Ask Mike Tyson and ask Buster Douglas. Mike Tyson was the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Buster Douglas was fighting the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and his mother just died maybe like a week or the previous night after, and Buster Douglas kicked the shit out of Mike Tyson. Buster Douglas is not the best heavyweight champion of all time. Mike Tyson may or may not be, depending on who you ask, Muhammad Ali, but he's certainly in that conversation. But it didn't matter on that night, now did it? I'm the undisputed heavyweight champ right now. But Mamba Ant is no Buster Douglas. In fact, he might be the Mike Tyson, and I might be the Buster Douglas if you ask some people, I think if you ask me, it's more on level ground, but I could be walking to this match the underdog, and I understand that. So no, I'm not doubting myself, but what I'm doing is I'm taking precautions, I'm taking heed, and frankly, I'm scared shitless, you know what I mean? I think that this is the most important match of my career, because this is no ifs, ands, or buts. This is no meddling. This is no, we feel this way towards one another, or we have someone else in our midst.
There's no Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins bullshit going on. This
No.
is just two men that don't like each other at the current moment.
Right. And I wouldn't even say that. I have no ill will towards my band. I challenged him because I wanted to have this main event match with my best friend. Call me a mark. Call me whatever you want to. I don't care, quite frankly, because like I said, I'm a professional. I can take it. You know what I mean? But I wanted to live this dream out. This dream that I started ever since I signed a contract to the AWF, or I took that ring down in progress, or, I went over to my trainer and said, hey, I'll pay you $200 a month so you can train me to wrestle. That sort of thing. All I wanted to do was be in the main event with the man that I broke into the business with. You know what I mean? For the World Heavyweight Championship, mind you, one of the biggest stadiums, one of the most famous stadiums on planet Earth, So yeah, I'm scared a little shitless because I got my dream now, and if I fail, that's it. I'll always have that stain. This is LeBron in 2011 going against Dirk. People won't let it go, Well, Kenneth Killgore, you can say you're the best, but you lost in a one-on-one match against a man who you claimed was worse than you.
That would be a sting.
So yeah, I don't know how Mamba Ant feels. If you ask me, he's probably confident as all hell. He's probably smoking a joint in his interviews. Probably, acting like he doesn't care. But I can't act like I don't care because I'm not an actor. I'm a wrestler. So yeah,
He said, save that theater shit for the other company.
Well,
That's what he said, Mamba. And I don't know if you heard, He said, save that theater shit for the other company, you scared motherfucker.
Alright, we're not gonna fucking, stoke the fire or anything, but I mean, at the end of the day, my job, my occupation, on my contract, it says professional athlete. That's what I am. As a professional athlete, you have to learn one thing, is never say never. Can Mamba Ant beat me at Wembley Stadium? Yes, he can. Will he beat me at Wembley Stadium? If I have it my way, no, he won't. How will it have it my way? I'll put in the work, I'll put in the hours, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Kenneth Killgore, with one last message, what do you have to say to the AWF world? What do you send this message out to anybody? Is there anything you want to make known prior to us wrapping this little interview up?
I do, actually. I am the champion of the world, not just the Action Wrestling Federation. So if anyone, and I mean any soul, anyone, you could have performed in a pub not too far from here for 15 people, or you could be in the AWF locker room, or you could be in the TIF locker room, you could be in the WWE locker room, you can be in the AEW locker room. I'm not sure about the TNA one, because I'm not sure if there's any people in that locker room to begin with, for being honest.
Oh, Jesus. What, Tessa Blanchard matches don't move you?
Like I said, how much time do we have on the program? You know what I mean? But anyway, it can be anyone who calls himself a professional wrestler. Hell, you don't have to call yourself a professional wrestler. You could be an MMA fighter, you could be a boxer, you could be a shot put athlete. I don't care. If you want to fight me for the heavyweight championship of the world after I beat Mamba Ant tomorrow night,
I'll see him.
You have my invitation.
Well,
just know that Kenneth Killgore is a man who is not hard to find. You know, like this one, hard to beat.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the totally Ring of Honor stolen shoot interview thing that I still don't know.
Love you, punk. Love you, Joe.
And from A in the K or AK whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it out. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Kenneth Killgore, for your time. See you folks at the end of days 3.